that the same insiders who sold out the citizens of Chicago with the Skyway deal, who ripped off the citizens of Chicago with the parking meter deal, who crammed 160 TIF districts down our throats and spent $90 million for an Olympic bid that would have made a few people rich, these same players are circling the wagons to get ready to really stick it to the taxpayers of Illinois on a whole new level. These insiders are paving the way to privatize a whole laundry list of public assets, including roadways and our water supply, make no mistake about it, based on a few key points. Number one, they're going to tell you that government is broke and incapable of raising new revenues. Witness the giant fiasco in Washington about the budget and the deficit scam.
Is many multinational corporations like Goldman Sachs, GE, ExxonMobil, many others, has paid zero in taxes to support our government. Instead of paying taxes, they offshore their profits and jobs, but pay our politicians. You know, what kind of system is that?
They will also tell you that government is stupid, and the only source of efficiency and effectiveness is private industry. Well, this same effective and efficient private industry burned their own houses down and delivered a global financial scandal and collapse that has affected everybody in this room and everybody in America. Those are the same smart guys that are going to run our public assets. They're also going to not use the word privatization, and several of our speakers have already caught on to that. The buzzword of the future, and this is how these guys are lining up the wagons, they will use the term public-private partnerships.
Public-private partnerships for transportation are really huge deals that are going to be taking away our public infrastructure, and there's very little transparency. There's very little standards in terms of the pricing, whether it's a good deal for taxpayers, and it takes away control of our public infrastructure, and it's not a good deal for the taxpayer. First, we sent a letter to the governor asking him to veto the bill and listing a lot of our research that we had done into the reasons why we felt this bill was not a good deal for the taxpayers. And then we approached the sponsors of the bill, Senator Staines and also Representative Neckrich, but they really were not, did not want to acknowledge, you know, our problems. Well, they claimed that the reason why we needed public-private partnerships was because the state was broke. But when we went to the governor's office a few hours later, his legislative aide emphatically said no, that the state of Illinois still had bonding capacity for public infrastructure. So that was a contradiction. But it was also rushed through because it was only introduced in January and then it was passed in May. So that's pretty, you know, quick passage for a bill. So somebody important was behind all this.
There are alarming similarities between the economy-destroying tactics that the World Bank uses and what's happening in the United States recently. Bankers and top corporations, who are largely responsible for the public budget deficits across the nation, offer privatization as a solution to problems that they manufactured in the first place. And it's no wonder legislators aren't listening to the working-class citizens when small donations are only 3% of their campaign contributions, and the Federal Reserve hands free money to the big banks and corporations every so often.
As both of us have pointed out, we cannot compete on the level of money because we would never win. You know, we don't have the money and we don't have control over an endless source of money like the Federal Reserve.
That $9 trillion, I heard that was given about the same time as the TARP bailout funds were given out to these banks. That kind of money, that's not free market capitalism. That's the worst kind of crony capitalism, oligarchy. You know, it must be resisted. And one of the solutions I see Representative Mary Flowers has put forward is to establish a state bank in Illinois, like the one in North Dakota. And North Dakota currently has a 3.3% unemployment rate. There's 14 other states that are looking to North Dakota and saying, we want that too. We want to have our own state bank. We want to get away from the private bankers determining our future. We want to keep as much money in our state as we can to reinvest it in our own projects. And we want to have sovereignty, and we want to have solvency in our state. And if North Dakota can do it, why in the heck can't we do it?